Good evening and welcome to Addis Standard's weekly news recap. Broadcasting from Addis Ababa, we highlight the top stories and developments of the week. Italy pledges deeper Africa cooperation at Second Italy-Africa Summit in Addis Ababa. Italy pledged to deepen cooperation with African countries during the Second Italy-Africa Summit held in Addis Ababa, focusing on projects under its Mattei plan for Africa in energy, infrastructure, trade, and migration. Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni said the initiative promotes investment-driven partnerships rather than traditional aid, stressing collaboration aligned with African priorities. She also said Italy has no interest in exploiting migration for cheap labor and pledged to address its root causes. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed called for equal and mutually beneficial engagement, urging a shift from donor-recipient dynamics toward cooperation based on shared responsibility and sustainable development. The summit, held for the first time in Africa after a previous edition in Rome, brought together leaders and business representatives to discuss economic cooperation, energy transition, migration management, and youth empowerment. Eritrean president meets Saudi deputy foreign minister in Asmara following Riyadh-Addis diplomatic engagements. President Isaias Afwerki held talks with Saudi deputy foreign minister Walid bin Abdul Karim al-Khareji in Asmara, according to Eritrea's Ministry of Information. The meeting, held at the Dendon Guest House, focused on strengthening bilateral relations and expanding cooperation across political, economic, security, cultural, and social sectors. Discussions also addressed regional and international developments, including the role of Red Sea littoral states in maintaining peace and stability. Eritrea's Foreign Minister Osman Saleh attended the talks alongside senior Saudi officials, including Ambassador Sakr bin Suleiman al-Qurashi and Saudi Ambassador to Eritrea Mashal Hamdan al-Rogi. The engagement follows increased diplomatic activity between Asmara and Gulf states. In December 2025, Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman hosted President Isaias in Riyadh to discuss expanding cooperation. It also comes after Saudi Foreign Minister Faisal bin Farhan visited Addis Ababa for talks with Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed on bilateral ties, regional security, and migration cooperation. North Shewa communication blackout. Residents in several districts of North Shewa zone say prolonged phone and internet outages have cut families off from one another, raising safety concerns amid ongoing security operations. Students and civilians report being unable to contact relatives for weeks. Locals in Fiche, Kuyu, and surrounding districts also describe the presence of security forces and intermittent gunfire. Authorities have not commented. Rights groups warn that communication shutdowns during conflict isolate communities and restrict access to vital information. TPLF warns of renewed conflict in Tigray. The Tigray People's Liberation Front has accused federal forces of advancing into parts of Tigray, warning the situation could undermine the 2022 Pretoria Peace Agreement. In a statement, the TPLF alleged recent shootings targeting military units and civilians, claims that have not been independently verified. The party says it does not seek a return to war, but is calling for full implementation of the peace deal and an African Union-led monitoring mechanism. Reuters report alleges RSF training camp in Ethiopia. A Reuters investigation alleges that Ethiopia is hosting a training camp linked to Sudan's rapid support forces in Benishangul Gumuz near the Sudanese border. The report cites diplomatic and security sources along with satellite imagery analysis. It also claims the UAE provided financing and logistics, an allegation the UAE denies. Ethiopian authorities have not publicly responded. Reuters says some details could not be independently verified. Sudan pursues $1.5 billion arms deal with Pakistan. Sudan's military authorities are reportedly moving forward with a $1.5 billion arms deal with Pakistan, despite the country's worsening humanitarian crisis. Reports say the proposed agreement includes light attack aircraft, drones, and upgraded air defense systems. The move comes nearly 2 years into Sudan's civil war, which the United Nations describes as one of the world's most severe humanitarian emergencies. EBS founder Aman Fissehatsion dies. Aman Fissehatsion, founder and CEO of EBS Television, has died after receiving medical treatment for an illness, the station announced. EBS described him as a visionary who played a key role in the growth of Ethiopia's private media sector. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed extended condolences, saying Aman contributed significantly during challenging times. The broadcaster says his legacy will continue through the institution he built. Amhara Security Bureau alleges. External involvement in conflict, the Amhara Regional State Peace and Security Bureau has alleged that ongoing conflicts in the region are receiving support from the TPLF and the Eritrean government. In a statement, the Bureau claimed coordinated efforts to destabilize areas including Wolkite and Raya. Both the TPLF and Eritrea have denied the accusations. Tensions remain high amid continued security operations. Saudi Foreign Minister visits Addis Ababa. Saudi Arabia's Foreign Minister, Prince Faisal bin Farhan, has visited Addis Ababa as ties between Ethiopia and the kingdom deepen. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed said talks covered regional security, economic cooperation, and migration issues. The visit follows recent high-level exchanges between the two countries, including discussions on labor migration and repatriation efforts. Somali president witnesses Egyptian troop deployment. Somali President Hassan Sheikh Mohamud has witnessed the formation of Egyptian forces assigned to the African Union mission in Somalia. Egyptian officials say the troops completed intensive training and are ready for deployment. The move follows talks in Cairo between the two presidents and reflects Egypt's stated commitment to supporting stabilization efforts in Somalia. Ethiopia and France sign debt and financing agreement. Ethiopia and France have signed a bilateral debt restructuring agreement alongside an €81.5 million financing package. The deal includes €80 million in budget support for Ethiopia's reform program and technical assistance funding. France, co-chair of the G20 Creditor Committee, played a key role in facilitating the agreement. Both sides say the deal reinforces economic reform and investment cooperation. EU and UN reaffirm strategic partnership. EU Commission Chair Mahmoud Ali Yusuf met with UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres in Addis Ababa during the AU summit. The leaders reaffirmed their commitment to peace, economic development, and multilateral cooperation. They also reiterated Africa's call for permanent representation on the UN Security Council, emphasizing the need for fairness and equity in global governance. Ethiopia declines to renew Reuters accreditation. The Ethiopian government has declined to renew accreditation for 3 Reuters correspondents and revoked the outlet's access to cover the African Union summit. Reuters confirmed the decision and said it will continue reporting in line with its editorial principles. Officials have not publicly explained the move, which follows a Reuters investigation alleging an RSF-linked training facility in Ethiopia. This has been your weekly news recap from Addis Standard. For accurate reporting, subscribe and follow us across all platforms. Thank you for watching.